Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, parents, teachers, and Teacher Joy, and the students. So I'll tell you my story. So I won't be reading any speech, but I'll be more visual. So my first slide is this slide about the start of you. So this book was written by Reid Hoffman. He's the founder of LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is one of the famous websites that you use to update your curriculum vitae or CV. So when you start job hunting, it's the website that you go to. So Reid Hoffman actually created this book to actually inspire people that everyone is like a startup, like a company that you built from scratch by bootlegging or just doing nothing or banding together with different people. So I'm Benedict Carandang and I'm a young global leader of the World Economic Forum in 2012. So can you go to the next slide, please? So my story begins actually in 11th grade. I was sent as an exchange student by my parents to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So while I was an exchange student there, I entered a lottery, a sweepstakes. So of all the people in Pittsburgh in the US, I was the one chosen and I was sent to Pixar Animation Studios, which was based in San Francisco. That was then when they were working on a Bugs Life film, which is their second blockbuster film. So I asked God, what is the purpose? Why am I the one chosen of all the people? I'm not even creative. I don't know how to draw, but I'm good probably in writing or more interpersonal skills. So when I went back and entered college, I met this group of people from the student publication called the La Salle. And I made good friends with them. They come from different colleges. So it happened to be one of my co-founders in Toldok Animation was good in animation. So that was Ramon Del Prado. And another one was a good voice actor or a voice speaker. So that was Ayin Pineda. And another friend, Topher, who was good in information technology. So we came from different colleges. So when we graduated, we had like this alumni reunion. And I told her, hey, why not we do something together? So we formed Toldok Animation Studios back in 2005. So we just started doing animation work in different homes, even before the pandemic happened. So we were doing it in McDonald's or somebody else's home. It was like a startup. So we created or invited people who were passionate on different things or working together. So my suggestion to you students is try to experience and do a lot of things. Try to not be in a hurry because at the end of the day, you need to do it step by step. And you have to open your horizons because do not constrain yourself to the people you just know. Meet other students from other schools, from other universities in the future. So if you go to the next slide, we launched our first film about Bruno or Capres back in 2007. So it happened to be that we launched it at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. This was in 2007. Can you go to the next slide? So we launched this at the Little Theater. So our goal was to really present our Philippine culture through animating our Philippine folk tales. So like I said, I'm not an animator, but my friends are animators. So we gathered different people to work together for one vision, which is to help elevate our artistry by promoting it to the world through the medium of animation. Because of this, because since I'm the one who gathered or created this group, I was honored. Can you go to the next slide? I was honored by the British Council as an international young screen entrepreneur in 2008. So I was sent to London and I was a finalist and I represented the Philippines. I didn't win, but it exposed me to a lot of experiences. We toured a lot of studios, we met a lot of different people, and I get to know how the UK creative industry works. Can you go to the next slide? So after that award, I became Ronnie Gosho, one of the inspiring entrepreneurs. So that was the time when I met Teacher Joy. So we became together one of the mentors in different Ronnie Gosho entrepreneurial events, just teaching people how to do business. So afterwards, can you go to the next slide? I applied to become a Chevening Scholar because back in 2010, I was working for the Office of the President to work on the master plan of the animation, comics, and computer games industry back in 2010. But due to the change of government and the succeeding government didn't pursue this policy, they shelved the proposal. So I was a bit sad that it didn't push through. So what I did was apply for a scholarship in the UK. But unfortunately, there was a budget cut because the UK government had a change. We were 4 scholars chosen from the Philippines. And do you know who was the one dropped because of the budget cut? It was me, because I came from the creative industry. So I was disheartened, I was disgruntled. So I just stayed on and tried to apply the following year. So the following year, when I applied, I became part of the 7 people. So luckily, I thought of this experience as maybe God has other plans. And actually, He did. Because when I became a sibling scholar in 2011, that was the time was the Diamond Jubilee of the Queen of England. So I get to meet Queen Elizabeth. So in my photo on the left and the photo on the right, I also became a volunteer performer at the London Olympics. So this was in 2012. So I was one of the coal miners who came out of the tree when they were doing the opening ceremony, Industrial Revolution scene. So that was one of the exhilarating experiences I had. So had I pushed through with my scholarship in 2010 to 2011, I wouldn't have become what do you call an Olympic volunteer performer, because the Olympics happened in 2012, and I wouldn't have met the Queen as well. So sometimes God has different plans for you, and you just have to embrace it. So, diba, they have some saying that sometimes there's like what do you call detours. You just have to accept detours in life. Do not think of a negative occurrences in your life as something that is bad, but embrace it and learn from it, and look at it in a positive point of view. So can you go to the next slide? So in 2012 as well, because of my pioneering work for promoting Philippine arts and culture through the medium of animation, the World Economic Forum honored me as one of the young global leaders for 2012. So that was a really interesting experience because I'm from the arts and culture sector. And the World Economic Forum tend to be populated by people who are more into the business. So I was in a niche group. So had I been in doing finance, it would have probably taken me ages to become a young global leader. But I was lucky. I was in London, and Davos always happens in Switzerland. So I had the opportunity to be close to the venue. So this was like a 5-year or 5 to 7 year tenure. So I became a young global leader for 7 years. So can you go to the next slide? So we had an annual conference which happened in Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. So from London, I flew to Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. So it happened to be I was in one session wherein we were assigned in a classroom in Mexico, wherein it was an international school as well. So there was a global dignity organization called Initiative by the World Economic Forum people. So in the classroom where I was assigned to was the Crown Prince of Norway, and there was an Italian lady as well, and me. So we were telling the students to inspire them what is dignity about. So my story was about the rags to riches story of Manny Pacquiao. So when the Crown Prince learned about it, he said, "Oh, I like this. You want to be the country chair for the Philippines." So I quite hesitated because number one, I was still a student, and I wasn't so sure of myself. Again, like before, I had self-doubt. Then I just said, maybe God has a plan. So I just took on this opportunity, and from 2012 until now, so it's been 10 years already. I'm still the country chair, and I'm good friends of the Crown Prince. So we actually do the Global Dignity event or Global Dignity Day at MIIS School every October together with Teacher Joy. So could you go to the next slide? So afterwards, I also had an opportunity to be sent to Harvard Kennedy School by the World Economic Forum. So it was a really good opportunity because, again, it exposed me to different people, different ideas and opinions that I just try to absorb and learn so that I can teach it back to the Philippines. Can you go to the next slide? So these are the countries I was able to visit during my 5 to 7 year tenure at the World Economic Forum. Like I said, the World Economic Forum exposes you to different countries, to different world leaders, in a way that you're there to absorb and learn what you can bring back to your country, which I'm actually doing now. So, like I told you all, I was a consultant for the Office of the President 12 years ago in 2010 for animation comics and computer games. In 2021, just last year, before the end of Duterte administration, President Duterte appointed me to the Board of Trustees of the CCP. So there was a vacancy. And it was because there was a task to digitalize all the contents of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. So that was what I was doing now. So in the last 10 years, I felt bad that the passion or the idea to push for animation comics and computer games didn't push through with the succeeding government, and the bureaucrats before weren't so keen to accept it. I even tried with USA to get funding for it. It didn't happen. But last year, since I became a board of trustee of the Philippines, can you go to the next slide? I convinced the board that, hey, this is an industry that we should pursue and help. So the board approved and gave me 20 million to issue grants. So just today, we're in the process of judging for the games, and next week for the animation and the comics. So, like I said, you have to have grit and perseverance. Remember, it took me 12 years to push for support for the animation and comics and computer games sector. But if I didn't have grit, I wouldn't have done what I have been doing. So if you also look at it, if you go back to my history, we did 15 years ago, or 2007, we presented our film Libingan in the CC. Never did I expect that I'm going to be a board of trustee at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Again, everything is connected by dots if you just look back. So in life, just try to keep on doing things without expecting or planning ahead too far ahead. Because sometimes God has different plans. Can you go to the last slide where the quotation is? So this is the quotation from Disney's animated film, Treasure Planet. So this is one of my favorite quotations. So it says, you got the makings of greatness in you, but you got to take the helm and chart your own course. Stick to it, no matter the squalls. So this, I give you and leave you this message. Thank you very much for inviting me to your keynote. Thank you.